Hello, lovely people. Welcome back to the Distinct and Jovial podcast. My name is Dom, and I'm joined by, once again, my wonderful co-founder, Jerry.
Bonjour, Dom.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. You all right?
Yes. We did say before the podcast, but I'm going to say it during the podcast. You're not today in your varsity Distinct and Jovial jacket.
No.
For?
Doesn't lend itself to 28-degree temperatures, really.
Oh, but I'm loving life.
This is good.
This is good.
I haven't had time to acclimatise, but it's good.
Yeah. Do you know what's amazing is the fact that it's happening on a bank holiday weekend.
Which is unheard of. I think
Yes.
this is the first time since 497 AD that we've had sunshine like this on a bank holiday weekend. So we should enjoy it, make the most of it, get out there, forget about the factor 50. When you get a couple of days, burn like a bacon frazzle.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I'm expecting that 3/4 of the British men in the public by Monday evening will be the same colour as my t-shirts.
What's lovely about weather like this is like going to the supermarket and just seeing like the odd guy with their top off, and their torsos that have literally had zero exposure to sunshine.
Yeah, they've still got a white t-shirt on.
Or any kind of UV. Yeah. You know, it's like, thanks for that. And it's sweaty as well, and you just think, yeah, thanks, I really want to see that. It's kind of disturbing.
It's kind of. Do you know what? It's interesting. So I wasn't sure whether to mention the hooks that we're putting into the podcast. But again, the hook that we got is things society pretends are normal. We do just pretend that people taking their top off as soon as the temperature gets above 18 degrees in the UK is a normal thing. It really isn't.
No, it isn't. And in fact, you have to go to some seriously hot countries for that to be the norm. You've got to go to places in Asia and Africa and, you know, when it's like proper hot. But then even having said that, like in the Middle East, where in places like Dubai and Bahrain and things where you get temperatures of like, it can hit 50. I know in Saudi Arabia it hit 51 or 52 one summer. And nobody walks around with their top off. Everybody wears robes and they cover themselves to keep cool.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I don't understand why we seem to have we have that norm that as soon like there are two places that I think that it's acceptable to have your top off, is in your own garden and the beach. That's it. Yeah. Other than beyond that, before you start giggling like a schoolgirl.
No, I'm laughing because there's only two things, but I can't say the rest of that. That's what it reminded me of, that line which you can't say, which you really can't say.
No, you really can't say that line.
Or a swimming pool.
Oh yeah. Obviously, a swimming pool, but that's slightly different, isn't it? A hotel outdoor pool area where you're specifically sunbathing, but randomly walking around in society, to the supermarket or to I don't know, Argos, or I'm sure other shops and Matalan, etc. Other shops exist, but that type of thing, walking around the general high street. Yeah, no, thank you.
No,
but you're talking.
I think the other place is acceptable is on an operating theatre table.
No, you wear a gown for that.
Yeah, but then at some point they take the gown off. They're not going to operate through your gown.
I'm not 100% sure that they would have. Well, it depends where you're having the surgery.
Okay, so let's say you're having the surgery on your chest.
Well, yeah, that's obviously.
They're not going to. They're not going to go. Oh, I can't cut into this Metallica T-shirt. It's a classic.
But they cover. You're still covered. So even when they take the gown off,
yeah, true.
You're still covered because they generally cover you apart from the bit where they're doing the incision.
That's very true. I think we should start a new summer trend. I think a new summer trend should be we wear operating theatre gowns.
No, because they are the worst things. They're worst things ever.
Yeah, but then at least you'll be cool. You'll keep cool because you'll have a good breeze going
Crush your
right
ass.
up the a-hole. and your back, lower back.
No, honestly, that was the worst bit from my surgery. Was walking down from my hip surgery. Was having the operating gown on, and I was like, okay, so how do I get to the operating theatre? Oh, we're just gonna walk, and I'm like, I don't feel comfortable because I'm just in flip flops and this hospital gown, and I was like, okay, it'll be just round the corner. No, it was along the corridor to the lift, down three floors, up 3 floors. And then I had to walk past the operating theatre into the recovery room. And that's when they then do. I've never been asked so many times, so many different random questions. Like, when was the last time you drank? Well, you haven't given me anything because you said I wasn't allowed. So that would have been 5 o'clock last night.
But that's not really that random a question. If they asked you, when was the last time you won Uno on a +4? And then you're like, I don't actually see any link. But you must be asking me this for a reason.
To be fair, after my surgery, if they'd asked that, I probably would have been like, yeah, it was the 4th of June, 2014 or something like that.
Look, how much money would it take? How much money would it take to get you to walk around in this weather, to walk around Tesco or wherever, wearing a hospital gown?
A lot. For 2 reasons.
And flip-flops.
A lot. For 2 reasons. First of all, because cringe. No, thank you. Do that. Second of all, somebody's going to assume that you're an escaped hospital patient. So you're likely to be arrested.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
And then, comfy room, rubber socks. No shoelaces.
Everyone's got a price. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, it'd have to be a big one.
Yeah, well, of course.
Retirement fund type thing at my age. So a good couple of mil.
You'd have to go 7 figures with it, for sure.
Yeah, 7 figures,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's quick maths.
Or 8.
No, there'd be a 7-figure.
Yeah.
There would be a 7-figure, I think.
Yeah, there would be. There would be for me.
Yeah. Because even 2 mil would pay off this house and leave me with... What? Yeah, leave me with 2/3 of it left. And then sensible kind of investing done. Live off X amount per month with no mortgage. Winning.
Okay. Well, we'll see if we can start a GoFundMe page.
Yeah, absolutely. GoFundMe. We haven't finished the kind of.
We haven't even done the intro.
No. We're
disclaimer.
Disclaimer. It is the 24th of March. It is the 24th of March.
March?
No, it's not. It's the 24th of May. Why
Are you
have I
sure,
written
Dom?
March? I've gone full
March?
wrong burgundy.
Jesus wept.
Why have I written March?
I don't know. I didn't even. Do you know the funny thing is? I'm putting you up on it, but I didn't even notice.
It's the 24th
I'm going,
of May.
March, are you mad? But I looked at the document and didn't even pick up on it. So
I'm Ron Burgundy.
yeah.
Go bleep yourself, San Diego, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who put that on the auto cue? If it's on the auto cue, he will read it. Right, should we do that again? It's the 24th of May.
It's not March. Okay.
I've now changed it.
Oh.
I'm not going to tell the episode number yet because it's going to be the first thing. But reminders that the views are our own and they don't represent anything else, really.
Anything, any product, company, other person, an organisation.
Actually, I want my opinions to affect more people in the world so the society's a little bit better.
Exactly.
However, this is episode number 60. Episode 60, which means that after this episode, we are officially have done 5 years of podcasts. 5 years!
That's mad.
Just think 5 years ago, in the middle of the bloody pandemic, how different is it now?
That's mad. I keep forgetting we started this in the pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah, when everything was online. Me and Jerry have actually met each other in person. There is a podcast to prove that. But yes,
I did meet you before that anyway.
Yeah,
didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only person to rock up in the office in a shirt. One of you in a waistcoat and tie, I believe. The first time I met you.
I wore top hat, monocle.
No, not quite.
Pipe.
You had a pocket watch.
Pocket watch, waistcoat,
Yeah.
plus fours. I was dressed like the way Chris Eubank dresses. I had a cane.
I remember two things from our first meeting. One was the waistcoat and pocket watch. The second was the brown shoes that you were wearing were the shiniest shoes I have ever seen in my life.
Which ones are those?
I don't know, but
What,
I just
light
remember.
brown? Were they light brown?
They're like tan?
Yeah. I think I know the one you mean.
Yeah,
Those are my
they were very
Barker
shiny.
shoes. They're nice.
Yeah.
They're pretty shiny.
Yeah. They were nice shoes.
Yeah.
But they were super shiny. I just remember going, and that was probably at the time where I was probably in jeans, Converse, and a t-shirt. Which, to be fair, I've not really changed that much.
It's whatever you're comfortable in. So to all the people out there that are going to start going off on one about Dom's hats, you need to back off. Back off.
My hats are legendary.
Yeah, they are.
Interestingly, the three people that agree with my hat are you, Swanee, and Sean. And the three people that disagree with are Kasha, Steph, and somebody else, but are all women, and they all think it's a stupid hat. This is coming from you lot that will actively wear clothes that are uncomfortable, whereas I will, and I get pockets.
It's time and place, right? If you were invited to the Oscar ceremony in Los Angeles and you wore that hat, I think you'd have to question your fashion choices.
No, I'd probably go down as some kind of fashionistas guru, knowing the Hollywood scene.
Yeah, maybe.
But like, if I turned up into
a
a wedding, like a best friend's wedding, yes, absolutely, I expect to be lynched. Although, what type of hat could you wear to a wedding that would protect your head from the sun?
You can't. As a guy, you can't.
Yeah, no, you can't.
You can't. What hat would you?
Sun cream.
I'm saying you can't. I don't think you could go. Unless it was like a themed wedding and you were doing like Peaky Blinders, you could go in a flat cap.
Oh yeah, you could do a flat cap.
I don't know if you could get away with that. If you did like a themed, like 1920s.
Yeah. People are sort of saying a fedora or a Royal Ascot.
Yeah, fedora. Yeah, I think you could get away with a fedora.
Yeah. But that is like the definition of things society pretends are normal, is the fact that, I mean, fashion is a thing that I think there's so many things that we pretend is normal, like a lot of women's clothing not having pockets.
Yeah, but if you look at video footage of
the practicality of my hat being lynched because it doesn't look good. Society pretends that's normal. It's not normal. My hat's great.
But you say that, but then you see video footage, like really old stock footage of, there was something on YouTube and they were showing somebody taking footage of Waterloo Station. I think it was Waterloo Station in 1941. And the way that everybody was dressed there, like every guy is wearing a hat. Every guy is wearing a suit and hat. And if they weren't, they were wearing military uniform.
No,
the ones who weren't. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to go to a train station or London Underground with a hat on because I wouldn't fit. In fact, I had an interaction this week where I found myself in the middle of a bunch of people, like doing office small talk, which we'll come on to in a bit. And I suddenly realised that nobody around me was above about 5'8". And I was suddenly like, I need to make sure I keep my elbows in, because if my elbows go out just a little bit, I'm just going to take somebody out. For those that listen to the podcast that have not met me, I am 6'3", so I tend to 191 centimeters for those that do it in proper. Yes. So yes, episode 60. I think one of the things I wanted to reflect on the episode 60 for me is, obviously we've done 61, and this will be the 61st episode because we did that bonus in the April when we were first testing this platform. I was just I did take a little time to reflect and went, in that time, I started the podcast in my 20s, and I'm now nearly in my mid-30s. I've moved, I've bought a house, I've moved. I think I've gone through 3 jobs.
I think you have, yeah.
I think I have. And yeah, just loads of other shit. I've had hip surgery, I've done this, done that, done this, done that. Did it exactly, I've been to 3 continents. How cool is that? Yeah. It's it was quite nice to just have a bit of a reflection upon that is. And then I put in my notes, how different I am compared to that 5 years ago, but also how the same I am, how certain opinions of mine are still, if anything, more solidified and more confident in my head, I suppose is the best term. I think the best term. I don't really know.
Yeah. I don't know how else you'd word that, but yeah. Yeah, a lot's happened in 5 years. It's amazing how much has changed in 5 years.
There's a fly in my room, by the way, so if you see me randomly swatting, I have got all the doors open, apart from the front door in my house.
It's really warm today.
It's lovely.
I put washing on yesterday and literally hung it out, and about 2 hours later it's dry.
Yeah, mine wasn't even 2 hours, it was an hour.
So good. So good.
However, I'm very glad I'm not in my previous house, which was a flat.
I still don't know how you survived in that place for so long.
I don't know.
So long. You were there 10 years? No, more than 10 years.
11 years.
11 years.
Well, I just about hit 11 years. It was 10 years and 11 months because I moved out in the July. So, yeah.
How long have you been in this house now?
So next month will be a year.
A year. Yeah.
What, interestingly, so I opened this morning when I opened the back door to the garden and just kind of opened it up. I had the same feeling I had last year when we had a bit of a heat wave or a little bit of nice weather, is that I feel like I'm on holiday. I feel like I've just opened up that patio to like a balcony that I've got. And okay, yes, the outside is very different to what it was when I first got this place. The inside not so much, but certain bits have transformed quite dramatically. But I still get that sense of feeling, and I'm if I get that sense of feeling year after year after year, I'm I've made the right choice. I'm loving life here. And the winter here was so much better than the flat. Yes, the costs were a little bit more, but that should be less now I've got solar panels and things like that. Generating electricity from my solar panels at 5:30 this morning when the sun came up.
Who can argue with that?
No, I've made £330 in less than 3 months.
That's insane.
Yep.
Bloody hell.
I shall take that. But yeah, I don't know if you've got any reflections on the 60th episode.
On the 60th, well, in the time since we've started, there's too much to go through, but I don't think I've changed necessarily, but a lot of things, pretty much everything around me has changed in that time. And I say I don't think I've changed. I think I've started to sort of realise more. Oh, this is going to sound so wanky, but more who I honestly. But I'm kind of starting to realise more who I am as a person, what I need in life. I've done a lot of work on myself. That also sounds wanky, but
yeah. I was just having a look. You've done obviously you did a major job change as well, too.
Yeah.
And for the better. That first one especially.
Yeah.
I think, without diving too much into it, I think both of us have become a lot more confident, similar to what I said, a bit more confident in our opinions, but in what we will accept into our lives and what we won't accept into our lives, which I think I put almost down to the podcast to a certain extent, to be able to discuss them with, myself and you discuss these opinions and have a lot of fun discussing these opinions, and then go, yes, I really do actually believe in that, and actually anything that kind of really goes against my values, let's not call it opinions, let's call them values, I haven't got time or energy for.
Yeah, because, well, certainly when you reach my age, you realise that time isn't on your side.
Yeah.
Either. So you have to, whatever you decide to do, or the decisions that you make or whatever, you have to do that more carefully, I think. You do.
Yeah.
It's just a fact. I haven't got enough time to go down a path and then realise that wasn't the right path and I made a mistake, 5 years down the line. There's never any certainty in life, and you don't know for definite if you're always making the right decision. But I think I don't think I'm making decisions on a whim anymore like I used to.
Yeah, and also I think once you've realised the mistake, you correct the mistake significantly quicker.
Yes.
That was I made a tit of myself there. I'm going to move on that way.
Yeah, exactly. I think I'm more aware of what I need in life and what the rest of my life's going to look like within reason, because there's a whole bunch of stuff that I have to do which is out of my control anyway.
Yes.
But
yeah.
Normally
to do with money.
Well, yeah, that and other things. So, yeah. I'm not going down
Hence
that
the
route.
discussion about if you, what would your number be if you could have to go and walk through a supermarket with
50 quid. I'll do it for 50.
Yeah.
A crisp 50.
a crisp? Do they even exist anymore?
I don't know. I haven't seen a £50 note for years. It must exist. What I don't understand is why we've never had a £100 note. Why does it stop at 50? You would think in terms of denomination that it would stop at 100. Well, like in America, you've got $100 notes. Haven't you got $1,000 notes? Or am I making that up?
No, I don't think.
No.
I thought it stopped at $100 notes.
$100 notes, yeah. But 100 is like the obvious cut-off point, isn't it?
But America make everything a note, don't they? Because you get a $1 note. Whereas we don't start the notes until a 5.
No, but we used to have £1 notes.
Did we?
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Not old enough for that, Joe.
I am. I remember the £1 notes.
You remember a time before the internet.
Hey, way before then. I remember taking £1 notes. I remember taking a £1 note with me and chasing the ice cream van.
Yeah?
Down the road, yeah.
Yeah, but ice cream was what, 20 pence?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, whereas now I imagine it's probably about £6.
And the rest. I saw a pastry yesterday in the high street. The place that does the best pastries. But those pastries started off at like $2.95 when they first started making them. And even then, it's like, it's a lot of money for a pastry. Then it went up to like $3.50. Now it's like £4.20.
Yeah.
And you just think, no, I'm just not doing it.
Yeah. This is going to be the grumpy old man episode because, like I said, it's going to be things that society have decided that's normal. And I suppose it's, for me, that's a kind of a cross between what they call shrinkflation, where they make things smaller and keep it the same price, or just pure cost inflation, where it's the same product but they've had to raise the prices because somebody somewhere needs to make some money somewhere. And it's normally some corporate greed at the top.
Which one do you find more annoying? I think I've actually find shrinkflation more annoying. I think I'd prefer to know where I stand. Keep the Mars bar the same size. Don't make it the size of your thumbnail. And keep it at like, I don't know, £1.10 for a Mars bar, but then you open it up and go, oh right, okay, that's even smaller than the Mars bars you get in a box of Celebrations. Just keep it the same size and just charge me more. At least I know where I stand with it.
Yeah, that feels like the more honest practice. And I think I don't know why as a society we've kind of really allowed like shrinkflation to be a thing.
Because nobody's got enough money.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
So-
I suppose there would be. Like, I don't mind. So, for example, if we take your Mars bar example, I don't mind inflation, like you said. Like, yes, let's say Mars bars used to cost £1 and they now cost £1.20. But then I also don't mind if you then create like a fun-size Mars bar and charge me 80p, which is like half the size but smaller. So it's still, because then that gives me choice. I agree with you. I don't like it when it's like it's exactly the same in terms of packaging. It's just shrunk, but by an amount that you're like, I think it's shrunk, but I'm not 100% sure. But the price is exactly the same. I think it's. I have more respect for companies that are at least open and honest and going, yeah, we still need to make a profit because otherwise you won't get any Mars bars. But I don't like it when they do it sneakily. And I think, like, things like, they always compare, it's Freddos, isn't it, that they always use in millennial speak, where Freddos used to be 10p. And I was like, Freddos have never been 10p. I'm pretty sure they were 25p when I was young. And they're probably a quid now. But it's the... For me, it's the things that you only buy like once a year, which I find are a bit sneaky. So a really good example are things like Quality Streets that you only normally buy at Christmas, where they took a tin from like the 1990s that was like 500 grams, and now it's like 125 grams.
Yeah.
But the cost has also gone up. But because you don't keep you do keep the quality tin tub, don't you? Because it normally stores sewing equipment, which nobody ever uses. But it's like you wouldn't notice it, and because it's a box of stuff, it's a bit of a thing. The other thing that's become a bit popular recently in videos is people actually. I might have just seen the fly just buzzing around there. Have you actually ever weighed something that comes in a weight? Like, or you just assume that you've got something from the supermarket and it is the weight it says it is.
Due to general busyness in life and time constraints, I haven't gone to the trouble of weighing.
Yeah, but people have been picking up things from like supermarkets, going home and weighing them and finding that there's something stupid, like sometimes like 40% lower than the actual weight listed.
Really? That's outrageous. What? And there's no regulation for that?
I'm sure there probably is, but who goes home and actually weighs something?
Yeah, but you could make a whole. You could turn that into a whole thing. If you could have a whole YouTube channel just calling all these companies out.
Anyway, Cadbury's chocolate needs to be made in Bourneville, not in another country. So Bourneville being the Birmingham factory that they've got. So apparently if it's got that, the quality of the chocolate is significantly better because it has to adhere to, I'm going to say it, European guidelines, not necessarily British guidelines, which are inherited from the European guidelines. But anyway, we'll ignore my my rant about Brexit. Let's not do that.
No, let's not go down that route either.
I've been there, done that with T-shirts. This all started from 60 episodes of Distinct and Jovial. I was going to ask, I did have a question in my notes, if you can think of your favourite episode. I've got two that really spring to mind, but I don't know if you've got any that spring to your mind.
No, I don't know, because...
3.
Oh, really? Okay. I think the first episode with Hoops, I'll never forget that one.
Yeah, that was good
just
fun.
Mad.
So much editing on my end, thanks.
I think I actually enjoyed... Do you know what? I actually enjoyed... It's weird. One of my favourite episodes is an episode that I didn't even participate in. It was listening to you talking about the F1.
Oh.
I got so lost in the whole... You just said it with... You talked through it all with such passion.
Yeah.
So much knowledge, and I was listening to it, thinking, "Wow, right, what?" It was great. It was like listening to a BBC Science podcast.
I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, I
It
know
was
what you
not
mean.
far off, but I actually really enjoyed that. And then, I don't know, it's difficult. There's some podcasts that just like you and I have done, where I really enjoyed them. I don't know, it's difficult to pick.
There's been some really smooth podcasts where we've just launched into something and we've just been both on it perfectly, and it's just like really smooth and naturally flowed the whole way through. Most of our podcasts do. There's a few where I come out and go, did I speak too much? Did I let Jerry talk enough? The ones that I like that stand out for me, I think, Pistols.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. But I think that was because I was just like, tell me more. I want to know all about the nerdy things. And then there's the two are similar to what you said about the F1 podcast was yours on the fragrances, which is a very early one, and then Sean's on the cricket.
Yes, that was another one, right? Because it's like I had zero interest in cricket, but then ended up being invested.
Yes.
By the end of it.
Have you watched a cricket match since?
No. That's never going to happen. Definitely not. Not that invested. But it was good. I enjoyed it.
And then I really enjoyed the in-person ones that we've done. So summer camp and the first in-person one we did with the Old School crew.
Yeah.
That was good, where I stuck squashies to wheelbarrows.
That was just bonkers. You put a lot of effort into that one.
I did. Yeah. I really enjoyed it. It was one of my best weeks leading up to that. I was so excited. I got to do arts and crafts. By the way, it wasn't like proper like wheelbarrows. I bought like doll's house wheelbarrows and stuck them on. And then I what did they call it? Oh, what's in the box?
That's it.
And you had to kind of describe what was in the box, and then people have to say whether you were telling the truth or lying.
That's it. So, I remember that. It's good. Don't know where the hell he come up with these ideas from, but that was a good one.
My brain sometimes is a little bit kooky. Interesting. I was looking. I was like, "This. I haven't done a lot of content for this podcast, but hey ho."
Don't need to. It's fine. We can talk around stuff. So
we
haven't even started the hook discussions, and this
no,
is
but it's the only thing that's on this podcast.
It doesn't matter.
I just noticed.
It doesn't matter. No, it's fine. It doesn't matter. We've got enough to talk about there.
I don't know why. I'm feeling very self-conscious of this podcast today.
Why? Look,
I don't know.
We've been recording for how long now?
44 minutes. Well, I don't know how much of that is actual podcast because I hit the record button. I think about.
Well, it's that. It's that minus 10 minutes at the beginning.
Yeah.
Plus, you probably need to take about another minute out.
Of you being a muppet.
Yeah. So it's all good. It's fine.
It's all good. Cool. So. I'll explain to Jerry what I explained. I'll explain to everyone else what I explained to Jerry before this podcast. I was in my kind of like, what do I want to do? And I don't like using AI because it makes me feel a bit like environmentally dirty. But I was using it to kind of look at the podcast, and I was like, how do we take it to the next level? And AI turned around and went, you don't need to. It's really good. And I was like, fucking sweet. Like, this podcast is endorsed by AI. That's what I'm going to put on the tagline. That's going to be the tagline for this podcast episode. And I'll make it a clip, and then it'll go viral and winning.
Please save us when you take over.
Yeah. Universal basic income. That's what I'm going to say. But the distinct part of the distinct and jovial, I think, is turned into a bit more tangent, and coming up with content for things each month was fine if I knew what the guest specialised in. So we just mentioned like Pistol and Sean was really easy podcasts to plan because it was like, let's talk about their specialist subject, right? As well as like the meal deal, which is always good. But you can't do that if your guest comes back and back again.
No.
Yevgeny, for example, was brilliant, absolutely brilliant the first time, especially when he came on. He was brilliant the second time, but the first time especially, telling him all about the war when Russia invaded Ukraine. And so the idea that AI basically said is you need to come up with a hook for each podcast. And so I was like, I did some playing on it must have been Friday evening, and just tried to come up with a hook for each one. And this one didn't have one. We had to replan a little bit, just due to some scheduling conflicts. And so the hook that it decided to come up with, it just said, this is the first hook that I've come up with after analysing all of your stuff. And it's basically things society pretends are normal. And I've already mentioned it, which is like, good example. Going into supermarkets with your top off. Absolutely not. Like, no thank you. Just why? And then I just was like, okay, come up with a list of things that society thinks is normal. And basically, I've written down on this list everything that gives me general anxiety. That's basically what I've written down.
I was wondering where these came from. Okay.
But I'm sure there's loads of other things that if you were to quickly type into Google now, things that society thinks are normal and that we shouldn't, I was like, I know other ones that I didn't write down, like the expectation that women should be wearing makeup. Like, why is that a
but
thing?
Who
like,
expects that?
Well, society as a general just seems to expect that. That's the point. Like, we as society have like pretend is normal that we do that. And so,
yeah, it's like the fashion thing. Like everybody in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, all the guys wearing hats.
I mean, it's anything. Right?
Everybody was wearing a hat. But why? It's weird. Like, why would you wear a hat? When if you don't want to wear a hat, you don't have to wear a hat. But everybody was wearing one.
It's what I find interesting. Fashion is one that really irritates me because when I was growing up as a teenager, we all wore like baggy jeans, really, really baggy jeans, and like the cooler kids would have the jeans like 3/4 of the way down their ass, so you could see their underwear. No idea why, right? That's just from the guy's perspective. And then we went to. Then it kind of came to this point where we had like super tight t-shirts and skinny jeans, right? As like going to the gym almost became like a kind of thing that we did, right? And now we're back to baggy jeans again. And
flared as well. I've seen some people wear it, yeah.
And I look at each of them and I don't understand what happens in my brain, but for some reason I seem to sort of follow that trend. Like if I'm wearing super skinny jeans now, I feel a bit out of kilter, even though I know like this that, and I don't. I just have normal. No, can you get normal jeans? What are normal jeans?
Yeah,
you know
normal,
what I mean? Like,
yeah, normal jeans. You can get a straight cut.
Yeah,
straight cut's a normal jean.
Yeah, I think I might have a slim fitting one, but yeah, generally straight cut jeans. Like they're not flared, they're not particularly baggy, they're not so skinny that you might as well just be wearing a second skin type thing. And then, but my t-shirts have changed. Like, so this one's fairly baggy, and you've got like the concept of oversized, and then you've got fitted, and then slim fit. And I'm like, I don't really know which one to wear and stuff like that. And
whatever you're most comfortable in.
And then is it short sleeve shirts or long sleeve shirts?
Again, whatever you're comfortable in.
I'm just not comfortable.
Then
I just feel
then it goes back to either you take your top off when you're walking around Tesco's, or you wear that hospital gown.
I'm not sure.
There's always a choice.
But yes, so like, and then it's like, what is acceptable for like? Anyway, I digress slightly, but this is kind of the hook conversation discussions that I've put in. So this could get very ranty / just a lot of confusion, and it might not be that great, but we shall see.
Let's give it a go.
So the first one I've put in is networking / not what you know, but who you know. I should have said who you know on that end of that, and the way that like it seems to be normalised that everyone seems to get jobs because they know somebody, especially higher up, which is just the bane of my existence at the moment.
You're waiting for me to start.
I'll give you it.
Bloody hell. Well, networking is a well. It depends on if you're talking about like I've never done active networking, if that makes sense. Not
Right,
really.
okay.
Like when you start in a new department or a new company, you kind of have to, and it makes sense to get to know as many people as you can. But there are people that literally spend a proportion of their working day networking, either within their organisation or outside their organisation, because for them it's like, oh, it's all about building a networking. Yeah. And for a lot of people that works and it pays off. For me, I've never really been interested in doing that. Because I'm so busy in my job anyway, I'd rather just be focusing on what I'm working on rather than thinking, okay, well, I'm just going to down tool. I know I've got to hit that deadline, but I'm just going to down tools for the time being because I need to go and reach out to my counterpart in a different company, or to reach out to people that I've worked with in the past, or to, you kind of like, you do that when you get an opportunity to, but you kind of have to do it so it's not disingenuous. You have to do it so that you're like, how's it going? Rather than it coming across like, hey, I'm just checking in because I want to keep that contact alive as part of my network. And people can see through all of that.
Yeah, I mean, this one is a bit fresh for me because I literally had someone do that to me this week. Right, they literally like, can you get me access to this certain thing because I want to do this, this, and this. And I was thinking, it's so... Maybe it's just my brain, but I can't fathom it.
Yeah, if somebody was to... I don't mind so much. I don't know. I just don't... I don't do the whole networking thing. That's not me. There's some people that you just are very, very good at it. But I think when you're actively networking like that, it's kind of a bit... It comes across, in my eyes, as a bit superficial.
Yes.
Hence the reason why I don't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it's the fact that I've read... the book is by Dale Carnegie, which is like How to Win Friends and Influence People, and it's a horrible title for a great book because it's like, if you actually read it and go into it, it is about genuine connection and sincere and honesty and openness, and then it gives you little things like trying to remember people's names and things like that, which in the days of technology is fairly easy because sometimes their name is just planted there. But
yeah, but what were the tips as a massive interest? What was the tip for remembering somebody's name?
Like, use it frequently and often. So as soon as you've learnt it. So when you're talking... And I notice people that are good at this. So if somebody's met somebody for the first time, especially in the office, you'll know that they're meeting them for the first time, because if I met, like, I don't know, let's just say I met somebody called
Bob.
Fred. Normally, if me and you were having a conversation, I'd be like, "Hey, how are you? How you doing? Tell me about life," stuff like that. Whereas if someone's met somebody new for another one, they'd be like, "Hey, Bob. How are you, Bob? How is life for you, Bob?" And it does work. It is a genuine bit. But they also talk about and with multinational kind of corporations and stuff that we work with now, it's like perhaps not pre-shorting in it, right? So. I'm going to, someone like Dan and Daniel, right? You would start with Daniel and then ask what you'd prefer to be called, and
Bob.
And yeah, and it's just, I mean, that's true, because actually for some of the other colleagues that we've had on, right, especially from Yevgeny and his culture, they don't use UK English and British people tend to use the first part of the name to shorten, so they wouldn't call me, most people don't call me Dominic, they call me Dom. But in the Ukraine, they don't often use the first part, they use the last part. So actually my shortened name could be Nick rather than Dom.
Oh.
Which is frequent.
Innick.
Yeah, Innick. So, but yeah, so the tips on that is they always say try and use it as often as possible in the hope that it comes to mind, and also use their full name. to begin with until they say, "Oh no, this is fine," or don't be afraid to call me that. Which is just interesting, but maybe it's because the person like really approached me quite directly, and unfortunately, I had no influence at all to get them to what they wanted, none. And they were almost quite upset with me. And I was like, well, that's not my... I don't know who told you the ugly room is. I was like...
Wow. So
I know,
they're
it's really
asking
weird.
you for a favour. You weren't able to provide it. And they're asking you this out of the blue. You weren't able to provide it. And then they got...
Yeah. I was a bit like, hats off for the confidence, but then off for the...
Wow.
Whereas I don't know whether it's just the way that I've been brought up or the way that I think. I would much rather find myself in those positions because I'd done something good, not because I'd forced my way there.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. That's the difference for me, and why networking feels so horrendous.
It's weird. I've had people reach out to me, who I haven't seen or spoken to, and didn't even really know that well for, after years, and they go, "Hey Jerry, how are you? How's the family?" And you're like, yeah, okay, how about you? And then they're like, oh, I was just wondering.
Yes.
Like, does your organisation use... because I've just started at this company. And I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But it kind of just feels a bit desperate for me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't... I don't begrudge people doing it. It's fine, do it. If you've got the confidence to do it and you go out of your way to do it, that's fine. But... I personally wouldn't. I couldn't bring myself to do that.
Yeah, and I suppose it's the sincerity of it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It just comes across as superficial and a bit fake.
Yeah,
like you have to go through a fake. I would rather somebody said, "Look, by the way, I haven't messaged you for years. Don't even have any niceties in there. Just go. Just wanted to check, like." Is this something you'd be interested in? You just go, no, I'm okay, thanks. Okay, cool. Hope everything's good. Good luck in the future. I'd much rather that approach. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like I don't like the whole process of networking. It's not me.
No. Fair enough. But society makes it normal. I think the biggest one was the second bit for me, is where. I can't go into details, but we've just talked about it before we hit record, which is it's not what you do, it's like sometimes it's who you know, and I was sat there and I was going, I don't think I've ever got a new job role because of who I know. I think I've only ever done it because of what I did to then get that next step, which I feel quite nice. But it certainly feels like there's a few people that you're like, oh, yes, I can see that you've hired your mate into that one. I don't know why society has normalised that in any way, shape or form.
No, I'm definitely not going down that route of expanding on that.
Dear. So my second one is, I've called it LinkedIn, but I'm going to call it LinkedIn Lunatics. And you may be like, what? So there is a Reddit called LinkedIn Lunatics, which is like a Reddit kind of group where they go and find like just some of the insane things that people post on LinkedIn. Maybe it's me. And it's very related to the one just above. In fact, all of these are related to the ones just above. Maybe I've been a bit selfish with the topic choice. I feel like I've done a shit job today.
I'll indulge you.
No, I feel like I've done a shit job for this podcast.
No, you haven't done a shit job. I didn't even have time. I haven't even had time.
I'm sure there's loads of others. I'm going to do some Googling while I'm here to find some others as well.
Yeah, I've been inside of work and outside of work. It's been a bit bonkers in the build-up to this.
Oh, dear. But LinkedIn Lunatics, I am going to do this one because this does make me laugh. Oh, yeah, I suppose there are other things as well. And because because of all the stuff that we're currently doing, it's just some of the inane crap that gets posted on LinkedIn. Do you ever sit there and read the LinkedIn main
I
bit?
can't. I just can't. I find it too annoying. I can't.
Why do we even pretend it's normal to post like that?
As soon as I see anything which starts with "I am delighted to announce," I literally just have to. I use LinkedIn only when I have to.
Yes.
Or there's an interesting article. There are some really good articles actually on LinkedIn, but I'm not interested in, when people post things like, "Oh, I'm delighted to announce, I'm thrilled.
Yes.
I was thrilled to be part of this conference." Okay, well, good for you. And then they post pictures of themselves at the conference, and you're like, okay, cool. It's just, I don't do that. I just don't. It's proper cringe. It's cringe.
Because did you actually enjoy going and learning about AWS's newest thing on cloud, or did you just enjoy the free drinks that they gave you afterwards?
Honestly, and I think the thing that I struggle with LinkedIn is probably the same reason why I struggle with things around social media generally, because it's like with social media generally where you go, oh, okay, like you've just gone through some sort of transformation, now you look completely different, or look how much money you've made, or look, now you're driving around in your Ferrari, and and LinkedIn is like it's the same thing, but it's like, look how good I am in my career. Look how far I've come. Look at me up on stage. I'm delivering a TED talk. You just go, okay. I mean, there were people that I got sick of it. There was a period of about, 2-3 years where every single time I opened up LinkedIn, this is going back a while, people would say, "Oh, secret to my success? I wake up I finish my last emails at 1 a.m, then I get up at 4, and I go for a 10-mile run on the beach, before the sun rises, and then I catch salmon with my bare hands, and I stand under icy cold waterfalls and let it purify my soul."
Yeah.
And then I start sending emails at 5 a.m, and I don't take lunch breaks, and I fast for 7 days because it helps me with my mental agility. And you're just like, fuck off. I bet you don't do any of that shit. They probably rolled out of bed at 8 o'clock and just posted that.
Yeah.
During their lunch break. But they're making out that they are something that they're not. And again, it goes back to networking, and it goes back to the whole superficial thing and people wanting to feel better about themselves. But
absolutely.
I then also struggle with the whole thing, like when you go on Facebook and people go, there's some people I'm connected with on Facebook who I just think, oh, please, just stop.
Please.
Like literally celebrating my birthday out with my bestie, sharing a memory. Oh yes, I'll never forget when I got this car. I missed that car. And then everybody and then the worst is when people post something on social media and they go, "Oh, feeling sad."
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And don't get me wrong, been guilty and done that before, but like absolutely just.
Why are you feeling sad?
That's why I've deleted all my social media.
So now, do you expect me to try and fish this information out of you? And I've seen the inanity of it, where I've seen people go, feeling really sad. And then you've just got this whole string of, "Oh, are you all right, hun? What's happened?"
Yeah.
Oh, or they write something so cryptic like, "Oh, people could be so frustrating. You know who you are." Okay, well, fuck you. What is that, a dig at me? What are you talking about now?
Oh, dear.
It's just absolute bullshit.
But society have made this normal because I feel like I've got to write my LinkedIn like profile like that.
Look, if it,
maybe I'll bite the bullet. Maybe I'll bite the bullet as I edit my LinkedIn. Maybe I will make it so exactly how it should be. This is what I did. This is my job role, and leave it at that.
well, yeah, why not? Because it's got to the point now where people are taking the piss, aren't they? So they'll show the dog as like, I chased a squirrel.
Yeah. I exactly have got it up.
Yeah,
I chased the squirrel. Reality, I chased
it.
the squirrel. LinkedIn, proud to announce that I have effectively executed a rapid response squirrel displacement strategy to mitigate potential yard intrusions. Humbled by the unwavering support of my family and local stakeholders, this experience reinforced the importance of vigilance, ownership, and continuous improvement. Looking forward to scaling this impact in future engagements.
Do you know what?
Honestly,
we haven't even rehearsed this, and you had that at the ready, I mentioned the squirrel.
Yeah. I had the squirrel one. I had this. I've got the Google screen that's got like all of them in here, and that one is number one. But there's like another one, like what is it? I barked at the neighbour's dog. Excited to share that I successfully led a proactive perimeter security and it's blurry. Why are you so blurry? I can't read it when it's blurry. Successfully led a proactive perimeter security and real-time threat detecting initiative. Humbled and grateful for the unwavering support of my family and local stakeholders, this experience reinforced the importance of vigilance, ownership, and continuous improvement. Looking forward to scaling this impact in future engagements. And then hashtag grateful, hashtag leadership, hashtag... It doesn't say growth mindset, it says growth mindset, hashtag security.
And that just about sums it up. Like, you don't have to say any more. That sums it up. Yeah. Absolute nonsense.
But so LinkedIn Lunatics is the one where people submit pictures from LinkedIn of the things that people have genuinely posted. So it's like this. I'm going to read this out, and I just want you to see how much you can take this seriously. I've just interviewed the most hardcore founder I've ever interviewed. Company works 7 days per week. Founder lives and sleeps in the office. He built a cafe in the office because there was not a local that was open 24/7. 2/3 of the first 30 team members have a company logo as tattoo. Stay tuned. Our fave LinkedIn 9-to-5ers working Friday from home are going to love this one. And that's the type of posts that people put on.
Just unhinged, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm just trying to see if there's another one because sometimes they're a bit.
Nonsense.
It's a bit slow on this Reddit, but sometimes there's every now and then you get a gem, and it's just like, yeah. Yeah. I just don't get it. I don't get it.
And I don't want to get it either.
Yeah.
Just to add to that.
I stare at my human until she shares her food. I deploy sustained non-verbal negotiation tactics to influence meal-based resource allocation. This might be my new favourite thing, by the way.
I love them.
Oh dear. One more. I eat socks. Successfully leveraged a cross-functional sock acquisition strategy to drive scalable household efficiencies and maximise under-bed asset allocation. Excited to scale impact across new verticals. I am going to write my LinkedIn like I eat socks, right?
That's what I'm going to do. You should. I'm going to do that. Well, it's like Elon Musk's CV from years ago. They said like Elon Musk's CV. He didn't have to use any flowery language, or he didn't have to elaborate on anything. He was just like, yeah, co-founder of eBay. No, PayPal.
PayPal, yeah.
Founded Tesla. Like, why do you even need to expand on that?
No,
what are you going to do? Oh, yeah, I helped to do this, and I did this, and I founded Tesla. There you go. It's like his CV's like one page, just SpaceX. Founder of SpaceX. It's like, okay.
Maybe that's why I struggle a bit more with it, because as an ex-software engineer, it's like, what do you write on your LinkedIn as a software engineer? I code. I write in these languages. Done. Right? And it's when you see implemented a multi-million-pound website. No, we didn't. No, you didn't. You were part of a team that did that for a company that was organised by a bunch of other people.
Yeah, because you suddenly realise that actually in any organisation, it's very, very rare to actually develop and implement something on a scale large enough on your own.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
No. No. You probably worked really hard.
Yeah, and there's no denying that. So, but just why do you have to? Oh, I don't know. I just find the whole thing. Tiring.
I don't know why we've made it normalised. I'm glad that you're at least on board with my topics.
So on board with that.
I'm going to do it in a slightly different order because I think the one that this then jumps to is what I call hustle culture.
Right.
And like a lot of the LinkedIn posts are exactly like you said. I started emails at like 5 o'clock in the morning, and this makes me better than every human being.
Yeah. And everything is, and even on social media and things, there's always somebody offering some advice in such a way that you think, well, I don't do that, so does that make me abnormal?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? So it's
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. So, and it's weird. It's almost like not only are we not progressing as a society, we are regressing.
Like a really good example for me is like cold showers. No matter what I do, I cannot get on board with them. Like, and I'm sure somebody's gone like, there's loads of health benefits. I'm like, does it make me a bad person, the fact that I don't want to do them? Or can I be healthier in other ways?
Right. So there was a whole thing, because it was the Wim Hof method, wasn't it? And I remember speaking to some people and they were like, oh, have you heard of Wim Hof? Yeah. Oh, because I have ice cold showers every morning. Okay. Well, don't you?
No, fucking
no.
lunatics.
I hate ice cold, but it's good for you. Yeah, I don't doubt that, but I don't like ice cold showers.
So are Brussels sprouts. I don't like Brussels sprouts.
So leave me alone. Like, what are you? Where are you going with this? Where are you going with this? So what do you want me to do? Do you want me to go ooh ah because you shower? You know what? Are you mad? Like, if you want to have a cold shower, have a cold shower. You don't need to fucking talk to me about it. It's like people
Post
that
about
go,
it on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I'm vegan. Fine, cool, good for you. Like, you don't have to go and tell everyone about it. You don't have to tell everybody about your cold showers. You don't have to tell everybody about, I did 5k or 10k on the treadmill. I pushed myself. I did 15k. I'm training for the marathon. No one cares. Literally, when people decide they want to do the London Marathon, honestly, good for you. If that's what you want to do, I'm happy for you. Don't fucking talk to me about it.
Congratulations. Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, but not even congratulations. I don't fucking care. I don't care. Don't talk to me about it. I did a park run. I don't care that you did a park run. I don't give the tiniest shit that you did a park run. Why would I care? Why? Why do I care? I'm going to do Tough Mudder. Good. I don't care. Why are you telling me? Why? Have you ever done a Tough Mudder? No. Oh. Yeah, I haven't done a Tough Mudder. Right? Does that make me less of a person? Does that make you better than me because you can run 10k? Oh, don't you like running? No, I don't.
No, I still
hell.
do it, right?
But it's this whole thing of like, I do this, you don't do it. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's not that. Like, because from my perspective, anything physical, like a marathon, I'm like, actually, inside, I'm like, actually, yeah, well done, hats off, because that's a hard thing to do. It's the showing off bit. It's the I'm now part of the 1% club type thing, or especially making someone feel lesser because they haven't done something.
Yeah, that's
I think that's the bigger bit for me, and the hustle culture that you should always be. I said this in my career conversations a couple of weeks ago. Like, what do I want to do next? It's like, can I just stay here? Can you just pay me the fair amount of money for me to do the job that I'm currently doing? And can you just leave me alone? I don't want to talk about like my objectives for the next like quarter or my like my personal growth plan. Do you know what? Sometimes I just want to be. I'm fine where I am.
But
it's like hustle.
And do you know what? That's driven by that's driven by social media. It's also, but that I think is deep rooted in corporate culture.
Yeah,
because if you think like
a lot of these are corporate culture,
right? So if what I mean is like I don't know that I say corporate culture. That I probably meant to say capitalism. If you think about, you can develop a phone. You can develop. So I've got a Galaxy S20 whatever. It's a bloody good phone. It's a really good phone. There've been, I think, 6 iterations of this phone since I got it, but I haven't upgraded mine because at what point you got to draw a line and say enough's enough. Does it take amazing photographs? Yes. Is it a good phone? It's an amazing phone. Has it got good battery life? It's fantastic. It does everything I need it to do. So why do I need to go chasing the next one? Like, why did you have to go and develop another one? Because what you're then doing is you're creating waste. Because then I hand this phone back and go, can I have the new shiny one, please, that does things just a little bit better, right? But why? Why do you need that? And obviously it's companies that are driving that, but nobody's pushing back against it, and I think that's the problem.
I think I like phone's a really good example for me because I'm Apple, not Samsung, but I changed mine when they stopped supporting. No, not my last one. I changed my last one because it broke. Fine. Okay. Yes. It was a doorstop, right? Actually, too thin. Probably wouldn't stop a door, but you get the point, right? It was a doorstop. It wasn't going to work. And my previous one, I changed because they stopped supporting it from a software perspective. Now, I've got a really good rant about that in a minute, which I'll talk about in a second. But yeah, so I was like, well, I kind of have to upgrade because like I'm now not going to get the most security updates, which it's got my bank and stuff like that on there, so I need to update. Right, fine, okay. And then I broke one, so I had to do one. My fault. Made a mistake, dropped the phone, etc. But like, it's interesting about the software updates. So there's currently I don't know how we've got to this, but this is fascinating. There's currently a bill, something going through the high courts in Europe around. I can't think what it's called, but it's like keep things alive. It's like keep video games alive.
Oh, okay, yes.
Because what's happening is like older games, they are well, there's a couple of sides to it, right? So if you've got one of the most popular games for a while was the original Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Yes.
From like 2004.
Yes.
And and I can't remember who owns it. But LucasArts, let's just say it's LucasArts, they shut down the servers. So people were like, but we are still playing this and we really enjoy it. And now we can't play online with our friends. So, like, people are clever, right? People made their own servers and, you could pay, like, a couple of quid a month and you could access these servers and you can go and play with your mates. And obviously then companies then go, well, hang on a minute, you're using our IP and shut it down. So there's a bill about you like making it so video games are always playable. But that's because within video games at the moment, there is a lot of, if you read the terms and conditions, there's a lot of things around ownership. And because you buy them digitally, you don't own the game anymore. You've almost rented. And at any point, the game company provider could take that away. And there's a big debate around, well, I say debate, like actually interestingly, society have gone, hang on a minute, this isn't normal. If we've purchased a game, we own the right to play that game, that end of conversation. And there's an argument between the companies. And I understand a little bit around the servers because like at some point, like if you've got 5 people playing on a server for a game that's 20 years old and it's just 5 people, and it's costing you as a company $100 per month, $1 million per month to keep these specific servers running, you're a bit like, yes, there's got to be a cost weight thing, but at least enabling them and going, hey, you 5 people love playing this game. Here's some code that you could like go to like, I don't know, Amazon or other cloud providers. This is how you'd set it up. If you front those costs, you can crack on, sunshine.
Good idea.
Like those types of things,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, so at some point, game companies have got to make a profit. I get that, but this whole ownership thing is because what's happened is people have been playing games, and then the companies have gone, well, actually, now we're going to pull the plug on the game and just remove it from your library, remove it from your usually Steam library or something like that. And then don't get me started on like anti-cheat software that actually spies on the computer and stuff like that. But it's really interesting how sometimes society doesn't normalize things, and a lot of video game companies are being made to be out as villains. That seems to be the big one. So I think it's Cracon, which is the publisher for the new Subnautica 2. They did some evil stuff with the developers, because there's a publisher and the developer are two different people. But they've put in that you don't own Subnautica 2 when you purchase it, and that people have gone, no. And within something stupid like 48 hours, someone had cracked the anti-piracy and they've pirated the game. Done. And I'm like, that's where, all these streaming services, it comes like, when there was just like one or two, you were like, yeah, I can do that. But when you suddenly got to have like 12 and people go, no, I can't be arsed with this. And then they go, well, now piracy is a big thing. Yes, because you price people out or you do something that does that. So actually, media is about the only place I think society doesn't go into this hustle culture.
You say that, but then if you take a look at content platforms, of which I will not name any specific ones, but they take money, a lot of money from companies and corporations to advertise on that platform. And then they say to you, well, if you don't want to see those adverts as a consumer of this platform, you can pay us and then we'll get rid of those, we'll hide those adverts for you. And you just think, when you think about this, when you think about how inane that is...
But they put it on like fridges. Have you not seen where Samsung have started putting it on their fridges?
No.
So you can buy a Samsung fridge that's got a screen, and it will put adverts on the screen. First of all, why do you need a screen on a fridge? I need the fridge to do one thing.
I hadn't
keep
got
my
over
stuff
that
cold.
point. I hadn't got past that point. I'm like... what? Yeah.
Yeah.
But these are concepts which have become normalised, which if you were to go back to somebody in, let's say, I don't know, let's say in the 80s, and we're trying to explain stuff like this. So you say, oh, there's a place which it'll provide you content for free, and you go, okay, that's cool. Yeah, but you're going to have to watch like shitloads of adverts. And you go, we already get that on TV. And you go, but you can pay money and stop those adverts. You'd be like, what? Because, like, for example, back in the day, the only advert-free channels were BBC One and BBC Two.
Which you paid to get rid of them.
Which, well, no. Well, you had indirectly, because you're paying a TV license. Yes,
you
you're
pay
right.
for TV licensing, yes.
And but you had no choice with things like ITV, Channel 4, and whatever. So you'd sit there, and that would be the most infuriating thing. You'd be watching a programme. There's like nothing you could do. After like 10 minutes, another set of adverts. Oh my God. And gradually over time it got worse as well. So I noticed that, for example, when I first got a Sky subscription, it doesn't have to be just... It doesn't just have to be Sky. It can be any subscription. I'm not picking on Sky, but any, like you'd watch a programme, you'd watch 10 minutes of that programme, and then there'd be... So what started off as like 2 to 3 minutes of adverts then became like 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes of adverts. Then you suddenly find out, actually, I'm being subjected to like 10 minutes of advertising for every 10 minutes of programme that I'm watching. This is absolutely insane. Like, there were times I made tea, came back, and the adverts were still on. I'm talking about boiling a kettle, letting that brew, and I let my tea brew, right? And I come back, and it's still adverts.
Yeah.
And you're just like, okay, this is crazy.
one of the things that I think because I don't, because you pay your TV license. Well, I mean, we can go down the normalization of TV license, because they're now making a TV license requirement if you watch just streaming. Which I'm like, what?
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, so I mean, if I stream the BBC, fine, but then you've got things like. The one that annoys me is when I pay for a streaming service, and that said streaming service has a tier to get rid of adverts, but there's still adverts like on the browsing section. If I've paid to have adverts removed, then remove all adverts. And then we go into the third form. When we talked about chocolate bars, there's the third form of, you got shrinkflation, inflation, and then you've got what's called shittification, making a service worse and keeping the cost the same. So, for example, there are other streaming services, but Netflix is quite a bad one for this, where, first of all, they, instead of raising the price, they just added adverts in and then added a new tier that was more expensive, but you could almost pay to have adverts removed. So there was that. And then what they've done, but then what they also do is they do things like, they've removed the ability to sort things A to Z. You can't sort anything in your wish list or, your watch list, or like just generally browsing. You can't sort A to Z. They've made the service worse. It still costs exactly the same, but they've made the service worse. And cars are the next one. Like, there was a lot of, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to have a subscription service if it wasn't so expensive. So, BMW put in a subscription that you could pay monthly to have heated seats, and which means that the hardware is always there, so it doesn't cost BMW anything extra or any less. It's just a software toggle.
I can't believe what I'm hearing right now.
Yeah. So you could pay, let's just say it was £10 a month. So you paid the £10, and for that month if you pressed the heated seat button, if you went into the screen and turned on the heated seat, it would turn the heated seats on. The seat heaters are still there because they've started to put them in, but if you chose not to. And I was like, okay, if it saved me as a consumer a lot of money because I could spec to not have heated seats but then get it on subscription later, and then you only have to pay for it for 3 months of the year because that's only when it's cold now in the UK, maybe it would be a cost saving. But the fact is actually they could just throw it in because the seat heaters are already still there because you've already had to put the hardware in. It's not like you're saving the environment, or because you're not doing it, or you're saving. It's purely a profit margin. That's all it is.
So you talk about hustle.
Yes.
I mean, that's a joke. Sorry, but for me, that's an absolute joke. Like, as you say, they've gone through the manufacturing cost of installing that already.
Yeah. So at that point, just give it to people. Maybe I shouldn't have done this topic for the podcast.
On a serious note, and I'm being deadly serious now, it's things like this where you see how things are going in the world that you just go, at the point where I'm going to have to check out. On some level, I'll be like, oh, thank God I don't have to put up with this shit anymore. Because if that's what's happening now, and this goes back to what I've been saying for a long, long time, especially I would say in the last 20 years, whenever there's been something new introduced or there's something in the name of progress, it's hardly ever, like 99% of the time, it's something that either makes your life more complicated, more difficult, you get a worse deal, it's more frustrating.
Ruins the environment.
It ruins the environment. It's not good for you. It's not good for your mental health. whatever it is. We just keep introducing stuff. We keep doing stuff for the sake of doing things in the name of, oh, yeah, but this is progress, but it's actually not. So
Yeah.
on some deep, very dark level, I'm not going to miss that. Because I don't know what it's going to be like. For example, I'm not going to be around in 50 years, but this is the bullshit we're having to put up with, right? This is the bullshit that we're putting up with now. Like, what dog shit we're going to have to put up with in 50 years from now.
I think it's the illogicacy of it for me, right? It's the... There are certain things that have probably progressed us. I think we probably hit our peak about 20 years ago, from memory. I mean, I was only, probably around about 14, 15 is when I think things got their peak. Because it was pre-social media kind of massive influx, right? And things were still normal. You were fairly local. It still felt like, a society had a village, I think is the best term. Whereas now society feels like a fractured. And it's where capitalism, I think, just really struggles in my brain, where I'm like, how about you just make something that's just useful for people and sell it at a reasonable price so you make I don't begrudge you making a profit, but I do begrudge when that profit becomes greedy.
Yeah, because...
Water companies not being privatized. Why should water ever be inaccessible to anybody in the world ever? Make that make sense. Right? You make enough money so that people that are repairing the pipes and whatever can be paid their living wage. But also, when you then come to it and all about this hustle, like, not everybody in the world can be a CEO and founder. Right? Because if everybody was, then there are other jobs that still need to be doing. And then there's people that are like, oh, you can't live off being a chef at McDonald's, right? Because they're going, we're not being paid enough. Oh, you can't live off that. Just go find a new job. Hang on a minute. So you accept that the job of being a chef at McDonald's, there are other fast food restaurants and other restaurants that require chefs required, but it is a job that needs doing, and then you don't provide it a living wage? That doesn't make sense. Every job should, in my perspective, should be able to provide somebody with a living wage. And then, then it's about a combination of ambition and intelligence that gets people to do certain jobs. I think we should be just judging people on their morality as well, to a certain extent.
Well, yeah, because if you think about it, the money that you're not getting paid for doing that job, that's going in somebody else's pocket.
Yeah, absolutely.
That money that profit is going into somebody else's pocket, and it's probably going into the pocket of somebody that doesn't need that money. That's the irony.
Yeah.
The wealth over the last 2 to 3 decades has just been going up and up and up and up.
Yeah.
Inequality now, they were talking about inequality now versus, for example, the 70s and 80s. It's just horrendous now. Horrendous.
Money, financial what did you call it? Forgotten the word. Brain just literally just went.
Financial poverty? No.
Separation. What's it called?
Inequality.
Yeah, financial inequality. That's the word. Why did that word just disappear?
I don't know.
You might have just seen my brain just went.
You glitched.
Yeah, financial inequality is worse than it's ever been. I would argue. Absolutely argue. So considering I was worried I didn't have enough of content with,
I told you it'd be fine.
I mean, I even put wage balances and teachers versus private.
I would rather
example,
not go into that, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, I would rather not go into that, because for the sake of my mental well-being.
Let's go into something that I think is which is a little bit different. So I've put in here wedding costs.
Okay, yeah, it's a bit random.
I was random. Like, some of these are random because like things that society like. Have you ever tried? Like, it's like, have you ever recently tried to look at wedding prices and stuff like that? So because I've got some friends.
But wedding prices have always been horrendous. That's tradition. That's wedding
Should
prices
it be?
have always. No, it shouldn't. It shouldn't be, but it is. But I think you do get charged more if you're wanting to hire a venue for a wedding versus hiring a venue because you're the Flat Earth Society. However, right? But there isn't that much difference, and there's all these different.
It's the premium.
You're paying a premium for stuff, but then weddings are generally not cheap. Flowers are not cheap.
Oh no,
right?
I did not realise how expensive.
Okay, so flowers cost a bloody fortune,
moly.
and then if you take a look at something like a wedding dress, it's not something that you can just go and order one online at Next. There's something that's a very specialist. It's a specialist thing to wear. Whereas, for example, you can go as a groom, you can go and buy a suit. You can just go and buy a navy suit anywhere, right? But for a bride's dress, you can't. Hair and makeup. Never mind if it's a wedding. If you decide to professionally have your hair and makeup done, that's not going to be cheap. Or to have your nails done professionally, that's not going to be cheap. So it's the fact that there's all these things that go into wanting to make it a perfect day, which then means that, well, shit, I'm going to have to spend that money.
Whereas I'd much rather not spend that money, get like drunk with my mates,
right?
type thing.
But if you were to hire any venue, even if you were to hire, let's say you'd hired a restaurant that was large enough to host 100 people, but you had to pay for that, to book that venue and just to pay for a meal, let alone anything else. You're just like, we're literally just going to sign a bit of paper. You're going to come. We're going to have a meal with us. You're going to watch us sign a bit of paper. That's going to take 2 minutes, and there you go. And then we're married. Even if you were to fund that would be thousands.
Yes.
So,
but if you then said to that restaurant, it's a wedding, they'd add 40%.
They'd probably add 40% onto it anyway.
That's the bit I'm like, why have we made that normal?
Yeah, but it's like that it's like anything to do with children or babies as well. It's the same thing because it's like, oh well, it's for your child. Don't you want the best for your child? And so they just add a premium onto all of that. So that, I mean, it's random, but it's not new, and that's never changed. But
why have we made it normal?
But it's always been like that. I don't know, but it's always been like that. But you can have a choice. It's because people go ahead and do that because that's what they want to do. But there's so many different ways to get married. Yeah, you can just go to a registry office and literally sign some paperwork and walk out.
Yeah,
and you only need one witness, don't you? One or two witnesses?
I thought it was one per person.
Or one per person. Yeah, so one per person. So you need 2 witnesses. You go in, you sign the paperwork, and bosh, you're out. And do you know what? That will cost you the administrative costs and travel costs, and that's it. And that's your wedding. You're then technically married. So people do have a choice. It's not like, oh, well, we need to get married. Oh, great! Now we're going to have to spend 25 grand doing that. But it's the ceremony and everything around it.
Yeah. Interestingly, I think that actually comes back to the previous points about like social network, is that people like almost want to show off. Oh, we spent 25 grand on our wedding.
Right?
Really?
It's like, yeah, we've gone and hired this castle. Okay. Why?
I think one of the best wedding receptions I heard was they did that. They went and did the registry office, and then they just hired a barn with a bar.
Yeah.
And they said it cost them a couple of thousand. They didn't say it was a wedding. They just said it was like party and stuff like that. Got everyone together, got all their friends together, and then they had a budget of something like, I think it was like 5,000. The barn cost them like 2, and they just put 3 grand behind the bar and said, everyone go and drink yourself silly. And all like, great. Oh, like, that's the type of thing you want to do, isn't it?
Yeah. But you've got options. You're not forced.
Yeah.
I think with weddings
and
stuff, you're not forced to do that. That's people's choice. It hasn't. You just have to make the decision as to whether or not you're going to be peer pressured into. Peer pressure is the wrong word, but you know what I mean. Like, you're going to feel some kind of pressure to have to do that.
Yeah. I think that's the bit, isn't it, that we've normalised, is the pressure to do certain things and to be certain ways. Yeah. It's all kind of come down to that.
I think with a lot of these things, whether it's weddings, whether it's the whole thing around LinkedIn, whether it's anything around, corporate hustle, always wanting the latest phone or whatever it is, it wouldn't take a lot for people to just go, yeah, do you know what, I'm done. So let's say Apple, and again there are other manufacturers of phone products out there. But let's say
we're going to get
Apple,
ourselves in so much trouble in this podcast,
honestly,
aren't we?
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, but for this, for example, any phone manufacturer, any manufacturer of anything, right? Because it's the same with cars as well. So let's say manufacturer brings out product. This is like the 10th iteration of their product. The following year they bring out the 11th. The following year they bring out the 12th, and everyone's kind of like, oh, can't wait, And it's like with Apple, people queuing for days to go and get their hands on the new latest iPhone.
I haven't seen anything new between each iPhone iteration for years.
But what would happen? What would happen if 1 year sales went down by 90% on launch, and they went, oh shit, we've got all these shit. Like we manufactured like, I don't know, 100 million phones, and we've only sold like 10% of what we thought we were going to sell. And then if that happened again the following year, whether that be the phone or a new car or whatever, if that happened again the following year, you'd be like, okay, like we need to stop now. Because why would you go through the process of doing that? It's because people are like, oh, I want the latest phone. Well, you don't need the latest phone, damn it. Why don't you just live with what you've got? You've been using it for a year. You can probably use it comfortably for the next 9. So don't be a dick. Use your phone, right? And that would send a message. I will still never forget. I was listening. I wish I could remember which podcast it was. And they were talking about food prices and petrol prices. Just prices just going up generally. Because there's that price gouging, isn't there? Which happens all the time. And they were interviewing this guy who basically he was talking about how you can radically change things in society and how you can claim your power back, but it takes coordinated effort to do that. But he was saying, if you had a coordinated effort, if everybody, for example, put their time and effort and money into only buying from local farm shops and farmers and had their own allotments and things like that, and also, for example, if you decided not to travel for a month anywhere by car, so you didn't buy any petrol, and 2/3 of the population did that at the same time, because that's the key. Everyone's got to do it at the same time. 2/3 of the population don't buy anything from a supermarket for a month, or even 2 weeks. Don't buy any petrol for 2 weeks. Nobody buy petrol. Just don't buy it. If you don't need to travel, don't. If there's anything that you can do to prevent you from putting petrol in your car, just do it. And within literally, if you did that concerted effort for 3 months, you'd have companies on their knees.
Yeah. And it's what's interesting. So I've just finished this has gone on a bit of a tangent, but I finished a book. I finally finished Simon Sinek's book. It starts with Why.
Why, yeah.
Which I had not read before, but it's a great, really good book. A couple of bits I was like, and he talks about Apple a lot in the book around how they used to be like this. Their why was to be the most cutting edge product, and I have to admit, like looking back, I'm like, actually, I can see that they've lost their why a little bit, and I suspect that their profit margins have probably diminished because they're focused on that. And he goes through a bunch of companies that have just almost folded, right? Hardly any of us really remember Nokia or the BlackBerry. What happened to the BlackBerry?
Yeah.
Where's that gone?
I loved my BlackBerry.
I never had one, but yeah.
I loved it.
But where's it gone? It doesn't exist anymore because they didn't remember, and most of it's they didn't remember their why. But I also think there's an element of caring for their employees and their customers. As soon as you lose that, there is a point where I think people will drift. And unfortunately, in the world at the moment, it feels like significant portions of the companies out there don't actually care about their employees or customers. And because so many don't, you're kind of, as a consumer, like, well, where do I go? I can't just not have nothing. I've got to eat, right? Which supermarket company cares most about their employees and their customers? Well, I don't really know. They all feel like a big corporation at the moment, making billions of dollars, and I'm still struggling to go, do I buy a loaf of bread or a pack of eggs today?
Yeah.
So it's like that.
But that's how you break the hustle.
Yeah.
But that's how you can break the hustle. There are ways to do it, but it needs to be concerted effort, and we're not there yet.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a few others on here that I want. There's one more I really want to talk about because I'm really curious about why society has normalised this and how we can change it. And it's open plan offices. Can anyone explain to me how these became normalised? Because I hate them. I don't understand them.
So my question is, why do you hate them?
Oh, I don't want to hear what my next door neighbour is on a call talking about whatever program of work that they're on, or the inability to just hear just noise the whole time, just like a general buzz as people
So what would you rather?
Well, I'd rather not go in the office. That's one.
Yeah, but that's not. Let's say that's not allowed, because you're right. Because the best thing to do is work from home, without a shadow of a doubt. For me, personally.
Yeah.
But what would you? But let's say you have to travel to the office. In the absence of open plan, what would you have?
There needs to be private areas, so they're almost I wouldn't say offices. Maybe office is the right word, right? A space that you can work on your own, and then there needs to be collaboration sections where you can put people together. But I don't understand this full open plan huge office where it's just a huge hubbub of noise. Maybe it's I don't know. This one's just I just picked some things. It's a very selfish list.
I'll tell you something funny. When I graduated, I got my degree and I graduated. The very first job that I had was marketing. Is it assistant? Marketing executive? I can't remember what it was. Some BS
Senior Vice
title.
President of Marketing of the
Yeah,
World.
yeah.
Job titles. How have we normalised that one?
Yeah, that's another one. Don't get me started on that. But anyway, let's say marketing assistant, right? It was the lowest. It was entry-level marketing position in an IT company.
Mm-hmm.
But I had my own office.
Oh, really? Wow.
I had my own office. I could shut the door.
Yeah.
To my office.
Wow.
Right? And that was a company based in Chesham. And I'll never forget starting there, and there was no open plan. Everybody had their own office. So if I wanted to speak to my boss, I'd have to come out of my office, step into my boss's office, knock on the door, do you mind if I have a quick word? And then we would chat, and then he would do the same for me. But my very first job out of uni, I had my own office and I could shut the door, and that was my space. I had window, desk, door. When I think back on it, it's insane. There was no open plan.
Did you prefer that to what?
No, I didn't actually, which is hence the reason why I'm
really?
asking the question around the open plan.
Okay, interesting.
Because, in the days when we were working together, right, I liked the fact that I could sit next to you, we could chat, or we could sit opposite one another, and I could just say, Dom, you're not going to believe what's just the call I've just come off. Right?
Yeah, that's
or
true.
you and I could share a look and go, fucking, or
Yeah.
just go.
I think the phrase I got said to the other day was, Dom, you need to turn your camera off because that eye roll was audible.
The eye roll was audible, right? So, but that whole thing of being able to do that, I actually quite like it, because then I actually genuinely think there's one of the few things that corporates have done where I think it's actually been of benefit, because it does kind of make you feel like you're more part of something. Whereas otherwise, if you go to, you see, I couldn't stand a situation where if I go into work, if I was to go into an office and they were saying, well, this is your pod, and you have to sit there all day, be like, what? And then you're basically you're in your own little mini prison, and I'd hate that.
Interesting. Okay, this is the first one. This is why I wanted to bring it up, because I was curious to see if we'd agree. Because I think upon reflection, because not all of these were strictly things. They were just I just put in a Google and got a few things. what I'm reflecting upon now is the size of open plan office, if that makes sense.
I see where you're going with this.
Yeah, so if you take like office number 1, where I was based, didn't mind that. If you take office number 2,
right.
where I'm based now, absolutely hate it.
You're right.
I think there's dynamics to an open plan office that can be done better or worse. And I think it's purely on size, because the new office is like open plan, like 90 to 100 plus people or something ridiculous like that.
I was talking to all the people that joined post pandemic.
Yes.
I was explaining to them where your office is now.
Uh-huh.
I was explaining to them what that was like when I was working there in digital, where it was literally like walking into you see those...
battery farm is what I normally compare it to.
Well, what I compared it to, because I used to love it, as I used to walk up to that section of the office, that open plan section of the office, you could hear the noise, and it was like, those like in Wall Street on the trading floors, and everyone was shouting.
I know what you mean.
It was like that, and there was something annoying but at the same time exciting about it. There was a buzz. Like,
I think it shows our job roles, I think, more than anything, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it does. But I would rock up and I'd listen to all these people on different calls, and they'd be on stand-ups, and they'd be doing all these different things, and then I'd go and park up and think, like you could feel the energy and be like, okay, right, let's do this. I mean, there were times when it was just like, right, I can't even hear this is ridiculous.
Exactly.
I can't even hear what's going on. Or you're struggling to write something, and you're like, ordinarily this would take me 5-10 minutes. This is now taking me, and now I'm just sitting here an hour later, and I'm still not even halfway through. But nothing's perfect. But it's then I kind of, at the end of it, it's like, well, I'm surrounded by all of these people. We're all in it together, and I quite like that.
Yeah. I think the difference, that between the old office pre-pandemic and the new office, the old office, we weren't on calls for stand-ups. We would literally be stood around a corkboard, I suppose is probably the best term for it. It's like a fuzzy felt that you could put pins in. And you were in your team.
Yeah, that's...
So I was surrounded by other software engineers that were working on the same product as I was, right? I wasn't next to some randomo who was working on something that's completely unrelated to me. And then there were probably 3 or 4 teams around that were working on different things. You had a desk, and we were... So maybe I'm being a bit harsh on this open, which is why I wanted to bring this one up, because I was like, is there one that we won't agree on? And I think this is the one. But it also balances. Like, there were absolutely times like, I need to write some code, folks. You lot need to shut up for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Because I go in now and I think, how did I get anything done?
Yeah, exactly. I know. It's what you then get used to.
Yeah.
So if you need that concentration time, you need that time to be able to just go somewhere where you can just be isolated in a pod, focused. But I wouldn't want to do that all day. Like, when in my first job, it was actually quite lonely. I felt very exposed, because I was thinking, it's just me. I'm not really getting feedback from anybody. I'm not having banter with anybody. I'm not, it was a strange environment, I'd say.
Yeah, I think there's a balance, isn't there?
You
need areas like that. You need an area where you're like, right, I just need freaking half an hour to go and type up some emails or write some code, and everyone to Foxtrot Oscar. Let me go to a booth that I can do that and basically be left alone. Interesting. I'm glad I brought it up now.
Yeah.
I'm very glad I brought it up. Cool. Okay. Out of all the ones that I've written down, which one would you put room 101? Which one drives you nuts? Hustle culture. Room 101, done. Easy for me.
A hustle culture, I think, definitely, yeah. Because
I think it affects so much.
Yeah, because I think it does, exactly. I think it underpins so much toxic shit. It's like the foundation of toxicity. So bury that, and you solve a lot of problems. So
yeah.
I'm in agreement. That goes straight to room 101.
Nice. Cool. Okay.
Nice. Hi, and welcome to Jazz Club.
Oh no, I haven't got the
Nice.
voice for that. I did. Interestingly, you're gonna like complete tangent, but you're gonna think I'm a nerd. Because I had to give a talk at one of our town halls, and I was experimenting with like, can I make myself sound a bit more nasally, and can I make myself sound a bit deeper, or can I make myself sound really deep? And
Whilst
I can't.
you were presenting.
Not while I was presenting, just
Can you
experimenting
imagine if
with.
we're going,
Yeah.
why is Dom speaking differently now? I don't understand.
And it's fine. I've got quite a higher pitched, like flat nasally voice because I actually talk from my nose, right? But you can shift it back to your throat, and I can even shift it down to my belly and make it like properly a bit deeper.
Can I just say,
Yeah.
make sure that you don't end up in a position in a corporate where you end up talking out of your ass.
Yeah, well, why everyone else does?
Belly button is kind of low enough. You don't need to go lower.
It's more about like where, like it's like
know.
sitting it on the diaphragm and stuff. And I was experimenting with that. So yes.
Did you go full Ron Burgundy before you had to present?
Do you know what? I came away from when I presented, and I didn't think I did a very good job. That's because I never think I do a very good job. And other people said I'm being attacked by a fly.
I actually
Other
saw
people
it
said,
that time.
yeah. Other people said that I did a really good job, and I said the problem I did for that one is I wrote too many notes and didn't rehearse enough. So I didn't know the content enough, and then I read the wrong bit of notes for the wrong section at one point, and I had to kind of correct. And I was like, okay, so less notes that I'm reading from, just prompts. And then I need to practice more is to get it more natural. And it's the same for this, right? I've got a whole separate page on bits and pieces, but actually I've barely read any of them because I've just seen where the conversation has naturally gone and listened to you. But you're not getting away with it. At the end of this podcast, Jerry, what are your final thoughts?
Sakes. Final thoughts.
There's only one podcast we haven't done final thoughts, by the way.
Is there? Oh, it wasn't the ad
Yes.
hoc one, was it?
No.
Oh, we did. We actually did a final thoughts on that one, that short one. Really?
Yeah. The only podcast we didn't do a final thoughts on was the one where the camera died with Swanee and Master L. Because we all...
Oh my god! where for about 10 minutes of sweating whilst you were recharging topping up your phone, and we're like, have we lost all of it?
Yeah.
In fact, it's longer than 10 minutes. Or it felt longer than 10 minutes, anyway.
Yeah.
Final thoughts. Final thoughts are... Before we go and buy anything or talk about something that we're doing or whatever, think about, do we need to be even doing that? Like, do you need to be telling everybody about the fact that you're running the London Marathon, or that you take cold
Irony
showers?
if we do this podcast. The irony is not lost on me, by the way.
Well, yes, but then everybody's got a choice. This is you and I having a conversation, so if people dial in, however they want to listen to it, that's their choice. What I'm not doing is I'm not inviting people to this podcast against their will and talking to them about how great I feel after having an ice cold shower in the morning and how they should be doing the same because it's so good for you. And oh my god, what do you mean you don't do that?
Yes.
So stop. So my final thought is, stop the hustle culture. There you go. Dom, you're not getting away with that.
No. Yeah. My final thought is, the irony is not lost on me. I'm aware that we put this out on social media, but I've said to many people, when people go, "What's your ambitions with it?" and I go, "This is me and Jerry talking about absolute nonsense." We just happen to put it on the internet and just see what other people think.
Exactly right.
And Aaron always apologises. He goes, "I don't watch the podcast." I go, "You don't have to. I don't ask you to." And then my final thing is reality. Slept all day. LinkedIn. Excited to share that I engaged in a prolonged recuperative energy recalibration to optimize output for future tasks. Grateful for the opportunity to prioritise rest and recovery and to model the importance of strategic self-care within the team. Feeling rejuvenated and primed to bring renewed energy to upcoming challenges. Thank you very much for listening and watching, folks, and we shall catch you on the next episode. Bye!
Bye!